So guys, I have written a program. So I'm teaching a concept of inheritance in constructor. So that's a very important concept in Java to create an app and to inherit the properties of different functions. Um, no. So please undermine my writing. I mean, my writing skills are not that good. So I'm creating a class like class Saurav. So class Saurav, I have a main method inside that. So main method has to be a standard main method. So what will happen is after that I have just given a main method inside the class Saurav. So I have defined one class Sonu. Inside the class Sonu, by default the Sonu constructor would be present. So inside the println statement I have written Sonu in class Sonu inside a constructor inside a constructor. Okay, so I have created one more block, that is a static block. Inside the same class I have defined one static block. So static block will be loaded at the time when the class would be loaded. Static block will be executed when the class will be loaded. So this is the concept I'm trying to tell you. And system.out.println statement inside the instance block. So no, inside the instance block. So I have defined one more class, that is a class Piyush class. So class Piyush is inheriting the property of the class Sonu. So that why it's been inherited to, sometimes we don't want to take, rewrite it further, reusability. It's very hard to write every time inside the class, every code. So what we do is we take the same repeated type of codes and inherit in the different classes. So I have inherited, so class Piyush extends Sonu. So class Piyush has been inherited the properties from this class Sonu type. So inside the Piyush constructor would be present, and inside the static block also I have defined one static block also inside println statement inside the static block. So there's one instance block also present inside the static block. So what will happen is I'll let you know how the memory execution takes place. So first of all, when you compile the program, because my main class was Saurav class. So Java C, when you write the statement Java C Saurav.java, what will happen is, first of all, JVM will open up. Sorry, first of all, this program located field, it will check whether this Saurav class is present or not. When the Saurav class is present, it will generate it will check all the grammatical errors while compilation time. So in the regarding same path. So when the compilation is not there, so it will generate the dot class file of Saurav. So that is named as bytecode. So bytecode is same for the different platform, for OS also, for Windows also, for Linux also. The bytecode would be same. So now my bytecode has been generated in the same location where the source code is there. So again I will run the program, that is Saurav java.saurav, not dot, Java Saurav. So it will check whether Saurav class is present or not. So while running this statement Java Saurav, the JVM will ask a memory from the operating system, and if operating system has the memory, it will provide the memory to the JVM. So the memory would be divided into three stages, like method area, stack, and heap. So now suppose operating system has given the memory, and then the memory it's already been taken, and it's been divided into three types, that is method area, stack, and heap. Now what's the next step? So it will check Saurav class is there or not. Saurav class is there, but it won't load the Saurav class. First of all, it will check the standard main method is present in the same class or not from Java 8. So standard main method is present. So standard main method is present. So for when the main method gets checked, it will load the main method here. this my main method has been loaded. Inside the main method the cursor will go. So suppose the cursor will take from class Piyush. So class Piyush would have the cursor, so it will look for the class Piyush, whether the class Piyush is present in the same source code or not. In the bytecode it will check whether the class Piyush is there or not. So class Piyush has already been present, so it will load the class Piyush, but it will find that the class Piyush has the super class, so it will go for the class Sonu class. In that it will get the static element will be printed. Then it will load the subclass of the class Sonu, that is subclass of the class Sonu is the class Piyush class. Then the static element of the class Piyush would be printed. Now everything is being printed, the class loading has been done. Now the cursor will again come here. Okay, now it will go for the new Piyush constructor. The new Piyush constructor has a class. Inside the class Piyush constructor has by default super. So super will call the class Sonu constructor, and class Sonu constructor would call the object class constructor. So while coming onto the object class, like super inside the Piyush, it will go here in the class Sonu, and super inside the class Sonu will get to the object class. While reaching onto the object class, because it's the most parent class of all the classes. I mean, object class is the by default the parent class of all the classes. So while reaching onto the object class, when coming back to the object class, while reaching and while coming back, the cursor will go here and create an object. So while creating an object, this by default this will be allocated and point to this direction of this object. So this would point to this direction again. So again it has come through super class. So by default the super have called this object class constructor, so it will reach here. So when it will reach here, it will check that inside the constructor, it will check that whether any instance block is present or not. So if instance block is present inside the Sonu class, so it will print the instance block, and the object is already been created. Then after that the instance block would be printed, and then it will go inside the constructor. So when it will reach inside the constructor, so it will print the constructor statement, and then it will go from class Piyush super here. So it will print the instance block of the class Piyush, then it will go inside the constructor of the class Piyush, so it will get printed. So all those three steps would be printed.